Hey all, Michelle Raza here with the Finding Yourself Book Club. Today we're going to finish Lindsay Gibson's chapter on recovering from emotionally immature parents, the art of mental clearing. If you like these videos and they provide value to you, please do like and subscribe. It really does help us little YouTubers. And check out my website. I'm at www.findingyourselfsatx.com. There you can take my free life balance questionnaire and submit it for your first free consult. You can also just fill out a contact form and I'll be in touch. The first consult is always free and there's no obligation thereafter. Thank you. Okay, so last time we finished off talking about how early emotional takeovers can cause depressive thinking and trying to separate out our own thoughts from the clutter of inherited thoughts. Today we're going to wrap up this chapter on the art of mental clearing. If you haven't picked up your copy of this book, I highly recommend it. Again, Dr. Gibson, I wish she did, but she doesn't compensate me for this. It's just something that I really believe in, and I enjoy her works, and I think you will too. Man, I lost track what I was saying. Just saying, I hope you pick up a copy, and we're almost done with this book. So the next book that we'll be covering is Melody Beattie's Codependent No More. And I'm super excited about that work. Pretty much every second person I talk to suffers from either dependency or codependency. So I'm studying now and excited to bring that to you guys in the next few weeks. But for the interim, we will keep working on our tips of how to deal with the EIPs in our life in this book, in this work by Dr. Gibson. Okay, anxiety and worry are types of mental clutter. It is important to distinguish whether your thoughts are your own or family hand-me-downs. Consider that some of your most anxious thoughts might be multi-generationally transferred fears, originally designed to protect a long-ago ancestor from a hostile environment. Think of these demoralizing and inhibiting thoughts as dusty, rickety furniture that has been passed down in the family for generations. Maybe it's up to you to be the first person to say you don't want it. Whenever you find yourself obsessing over whether someone is unhappy with you, shift into your own viewpoint and write in your journal about how their behavior makes you feel. Get back in your own shoes and come up with your own opinion about the situation, instead of accepting their criticisms at face value. Thinking your own thoughts lets you see what you want out of the situation, allowing you to plan the outcome you want. Using your mind in this active, purposeful way lets you pursue your own personal happiness instead of fruitlessly worrying about how to placate EIPs. I'm sorry, y'all, my tongue is like stuck today. So I'm like tripping on my words. So here we go into self-talk and how it reverses brainwashing. To counteract an EIP's mental and emotional domination, you tell yourself to keep your analytic mind sharp. You can fight the urge to shut down and go foggy when they are upset with you. Instead, you can mentally narrate observations on their behavior, as if you were an anthropologist taking notes. This analytical self-talk will anchor you in the objective adult part of your brain that can see through their attempts to control you. So other people have called this labeling. So instead of letting yourself react to what's going on, in your mind, you just start labeling. Okay, so right now they're trying to criticize me to get a rise out of me. Or, they're poking at this thing that I know always makes me upset. So I can see that they're trying to poke me. Or, wow, they must really not know that this is offensive to me. I feel sorry for them. But instead of reacting to it, you spend some time labeling their behavior. As you accurately label their behavior with your self-talk, their attempts at emotional takeovers will fail. Maintaining loyalty to yourself and thinking analytically are exactly the skills that prisoners of war and other victims of totalitarian regimes use in order to hold on to their integrity and beliefs over years of abuse or imprisonment. 3 situations for practicing self-talk. Self-talk brings you emotional strength. However, self-talk can be hard to come up with on your own. So here are some suggested self-talk phrases to use when you feel pressured by the coercive expectations of an EIP. When you feel blamed for not doing enough, tell yourself, I haven't done anything wrong. I can listen, but I won't accept guilt. I'm not bad, and this isn't all about me. It's not my fault she's disappointed. Her expectations were truly out of line. This will blow over, even if he's acting like nothing will ever be right again. She expects more than I can give. I would never be able to do all that, nor would I want to. What she wants me to do would stress and debilitate me. So that was when you feel blamed for not doing enough. And there may be instances where somebody's telling you something and they're right, but the point is to take some time and analyze it, and don't just immediately accept guilt because somebody's trying to put it on you. It may be that there's no reason for you to feel guilty, and it's honestly more about that person and what they're going through, and it's not necessarily that you did anything wrong yourself. When someone loses emotional control, say to yourself, it's not my fault he can't manage his emotions. She's upset, but I'm still okay. The world is still turning. He's doing his wrath of God act, but that doesn't mean he's right about this. Someone being upset doesn't mean I have to let them dominate me. What she's saying is an overwrite exaggeration. She's trying to convince me this incident is the end of the world. It simply isn't. That's when someone loses emotional control. And again, take some accountability, right? If you were attacking someone and they lost emotional control, then you would want to take some ownership in the fact that you maybe hurt their feelings. And this is where we may want to go back to Gottman's works, right? Gottman has a formula which is very effective. It's written in a book about romantic encounters, and I have an entire playlist covering it. But it actually works very well in every relationship. You have relationships at work, you have relationships at home, you have relationships with your extended family. So the formula, Gottman's formula for conflict resolution is, when X happened, I felt Y. This may be related to enduring vulnerability XYZ. So for example, when you made fun of my hair, I felt very embarrassed. This is because as I was growing up, I was constantly teased about my hair. So it's partially about me, right? I'm more sensitive to that than the average person. That enduring vulnerability piece is not necessarily like you don't always have it, but you may have it. And then you do always have to take accountability in a piece of it. So I can take ownership in that, I wasn't even satisfied with my hair before I asked you for your opinion. And then the last part of it is, what do you need from them? What I needed from you was a gentler way of letting me know that maybe it's still a little incomplete and not pinned up the right way. What do you need from that person to make this thing right? Because it's very easy to state your complaint and state what's wrong and that this person hurt you, but it's not always so easy to explain to them how they could fix it. And that's often missing, right? And then people will generally respond like, if someone makes fun of your hair, instead of responding in this Gottman-like way, you may make fun of something of them, right? You just throw it back at them, which is, I think, human nature, and it's very normal, but it actually doesn't help you get to the root of the problem. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent here. The point is, when someone loses emotional control, you may want to stop and think whether you had something to do with it. But what this is counseling us to do is, if you had nothing to do with it, don't let it affect you. You want to use self-talk to protect yourself in a situation like this. Okay, and then the last of these, when someone tries to dominate you and control your thinking, remind yourself, my needs are just as legitimate and important as his. As adults, we're co-equals. My life doesn't belong to her. I can disagree. I choose my loyalties. He doesn't get to claim my primary loyalty. My worth is not defined by how he feels toward me. These are just her opinions. She doesn't own me. By using such self-talk during an interaction, you maintain a strong self-connection that can't be broken. Realistic self-talk helps you keep perspective and reminds you that your inner world and needs are equally as important as the EIPs. And this last one again was, when someone tries to dominate you and control your thinking, remind yourself of the following things. And then she closes out the chapter by talking about, once you clear your mind, what will you fill the space with? And I could read this to you, but I don't think it'll be really beneficial. If you're looking at the book, it's page 154. It did make me think, though. So there's this very popular and famous TED Talk by Sean Acker, is I think how you pronounce his name. I don't want to get it wrong. But it's The Happy Secret to Better Work. And it's a super interesting TED Talk. Please do look it up. I will link it in the comments. But it's really good. And essentially what he tells you at the end of it, so I don't want to spoil it, but I kind of will spoil it just in case you're not going to watch it, is if you take 21 days and you practice a gratitude list of things that you're grateful for, you will, at the end of it, rewire your brain to look for the positive instead of always looking for the negative. And I myself am guilty right now. I am super guilty of not keeping up with my gratitude list. I try to be grateful, but I haven't really kept up with it. At one point, I was doing grateful, 3 things I was grateful for, 3 things I was happy about, and 3 things I was proud of. But just keeping a real list of things that are positive in your life. And some days they may be the same. You know, I'm grateful for my warm cup of coffee every day, or I'm grateful for the roof over my head, or I'm grateful for my mom who calls me even when I'm not always there. Although if you have EIPs as parents, maybe that's not the case for you, right? But that gratitude, what are you grateful for? And try every day to look for 3 different things. And check out that TED Talk. It really is worthwhile. So thanks for hanging out with me. I'm glad that we're done with this chapter. We will move on to chapter 9, which is updating your self-concept. How to correct distortions and enhance self-confidence. So super looking forward to covering that with you guys. We'll be posting on Thursday if all goes according to plan. Please do like and subscribe if you like these videos. It really does help me and doesn't cost you a dime. And check out my website. I'm at www.findingyourselfsatx.com. Thanks, y'all. Have a great night, and I'll see you on Thursday. Bye-bye.